Hey there, and Merry Christmas season. Happy Christus Kwanzaa. I realize I haven't delivered a message in a while outside of my singing, and a verse from the Bible, which is not my message. So hopefully I remember how to do this. This is actually part one of two, because this preamble is important. I don't believe that God is micromanaging all of us. The idea of a God that is pulling strings and getting us to do certain things, or even the idea of God saying, well, I know what you're going to do. To me, that's not the same thing. Knowing is not the same thing as actually making someone do something. So I don't believe this. I believe that God created us with all the strengths and skills that we need. Perhaps first and foremost is our overwhelming drive to exist and to work within a community. And we're constantly building this community. But every once in a while, God does something that is really very obvious, and he takes a direct role. I think for the most part, he kind of nudges us on the right path, but it's our decision whether or not to accept that nudging, that path. Back in 2001, I rode my bicycle from Cape May, New Jersey to San Francisco, California, 3,335 miles, 9.5 weeks. And I was almost done. September 7th, 2001, 4 days before 9/11, I'm not going to forget this. I had the option of visiting Tahoe, Lake Tahoe. Now, I had used to live in California in the mountains, and I visited Tahoe often, and there was really no reason for me to do it again. But I liked Tahoe, and I kept debating whether or not to go back. Tahoe sits in a valley encircled by mountains, so that would mean going in and over a pass twice. And I had pretty much decided that I wasn't going to go to Tahoe, but there is a T intersection that goes up to Tahoe from State Route 395 or U.S. Route 395. And my idea was to just go down 395, but I was in the middle of the intersection. I decided I'm going to Tahoe. I leaned right, I started going up, and the strain that this put on my bicycle cracked the chainstay, which is the part of the metal part that is parallel to the chain. This caused the bike to vibrate horribly. The trip had to be over. I hitched a ride into Tahoe, and thankfully, there was one welder. It was a Friday, so he said he could fix it, but I'd have to wait until Monday. That forced me to stay in Tahoe over the weekend. Every week, I had been camping while I was out on the trek, this bike trek. And every week I would knock on the church door and ask the pastor if he could accommodate me for the night. This was the only time that I knocked on the church door and the pastor said, hey, we have other people come through. He called them itinerants. And he had a arrangement with 2 lodges where give the itinerant a voucher and they could stay there for a night or 3. So I stayed there for a night. The hotel that I chose was directly across the street from a casino. So I watched up, felt a bit relaxed, went over, I was starving, went to the buffet, and I walked in and I looked to the right and I saw the woman who would become my wife. Hostess asked me, where do I want to sit? And I said, I want to sit over there. Because of this decision to go to Tahoe, very last fraction of a second, I met my wife. I moved to Poland. We had a family. We've had Spiszek. And also, if I had decided simply to go down 395, which I eventually did, and then go over the Sonora Pass, well, there's nothing there, no town, let alone a welder. My bike trek would have come to an inglorious end. Going to Tahoe allowed me to finish my trek, meet my wife, and just have every single experience I've had since then, because it involves family, all is tied back to that one event. God is real, and God moved within our lives. This happened, divine providence. So that's my preamble, folks. I'll follow this up with part 2.